Hey, this is Wileen Benson, and you are on the Daily Gratitude Call, where we start every day in gratitude. Gratitude is the highest energy state that we can be in. It creates a frequency of positive vibration that attracts positive experiences into our lives. Hey everybody, this is Wileen Benson. This is our Daily Gratitude Call. Thank you for joining us today. I look forward to what we get to learn today. We've got lots of people on our call live today, and I just want to welcome all of those who are here live and also those who are listening on the podcast. Also want to encourage everybody to share any special calls that you have really inspired you, or really, like maybe as you were listening to the call, you thought of someone and said, this person needs to hear this, to be confident in sharing those. I really feel like the inspiration that we receive connects us with the right people. And a couple of those things were shared even in our rounds of gratitude before we started the recording, of mentors and people that were led to the perfect person that got to help us with a specific problem that we had. One of our participants, Deep T, talked about being grateful to be able to speak to her grandmother, and that her grandmother taught her about having compassion in her heart, and just lots of really wonderful connection, people who offer inspiration. And the words that came to me for us to focus on today really fits right in with that, is people who know. Gratitude for people who know. And I'm just going to leave it at that. And we're going to do a 90-second private silent meditation on gratitude for people who know. And just write down whatever inspiration comes to you. Just allow your mind and your heart to take you wherever it does. May not make sense, but it's going to be perfect. So gratitude for people who know. 90-second private silent meditation. Begin. Okay. I'm just going to write down this last little sentence here. Okay. My dad came to me again. I've mentioned him a few times. He's passed away, but he was a master in woodwork, and so he really knew about wood. He was a person who knew about wood, but he did not know about money. And so there were certain things, there were some things that he was really super good at, and then other things that he really was not very good at. And the next thought that came to me was several years ago, probably I would say about 5 to 6 years ago, I hired 5 mentors. There were 5 specific areas of my life that I felt like I was lacking in, and I wanted to develop these specific areas. And so I looked around at all of the people that I knew, and I hand selected the person who I felt like was best at that particular subject, and went to them each individually, separately, and asked them to mentor me in that particular area. And, I didn't know at the time, but that was the Gateway of Charity that I talk about in my 7 Gateways book. The Gateway of Charity is seeing others through the eyes of Christ, and with the pure love of Christ, and helping, being able to see them in their genius, seeing them as their highest and best self. And that's exactly what I was doing, is I was looking around and observing. And it wasn't even a subject that they specifically mentored on. Some of them weren't even mentors, but I had just observed that they were really, really good at that particular thing. And just went and talked to them and asked them if they would mentor me on a weekly basis on becoming more aligned with that particular skill, that particular characteristic. And I just thought that this is an interesting way to choose a mentor. It's how I choose my mentors now. If there's something specific that I need, then I go look for the person that I can find that is best at that and hire them. That's how I choose my mentors now. But before, I would choose someone because they would promise something. I would, be seeing in an event or read a book or, be online or whatever. And I would hear somebody say they would, that they had the answer to this, whatever it is. And I'd be like, oh, I need that. And I would feel like I'm going to die if I don't, get this. And so out of fear, I would hire that person. And sometimes, and I would always learn something, but I would not always necessarily get exactly what they were promising. So I just am really grateful for people who know, and I'm also grateful for my own discernment of who is the best person who knows that can serve me best. And I just find that is a really great way to efficiently get the answers that I need with the least amount of money, time, energy on my part, and the most amount of benefit. Who else has something that they would like to share?
Asha.
Deepti, thank you.
So the conversation with my grandmother today, and she was guiding me towards charity. And she said you should always look after people who cannot afford or who are poorer than you. And even if you are not like a very rich person, maybe even you are someone who is just mediocre, at least some percentage you should donate. And and she was saying you should pray that God helps the poor to survive on earth. And I said, no, God would do nothing. We have to do the people who know that, we could help. We are the ones who should help them. So she's like, and how do you know you are the one? Only because the God sends you that inspiration. And I said, oh yeah. And then I just realized, oh shit, I'm doing spirituality from like a couple of months, but it didn't strike me. There are so many people who are still unaware about things. So I'm just grateful for myself that I have this friend. She speaks a lot of, so she just came up today with, oh, there's another China virus which is going to spread all over the world. And now because I'm into spirituality, I don't pay heed to such things because now I know that, what I need to give my attention to or what I don't need to. So I just talk people who know, not on the mentor level, but on the general scale also, people who are aware of, what's right, what's wrong, what needs to be given attention to, what shouldn't be given attention to. And yeah, that's it. That's
beautiful. I love that. And I 100% agree with her grandmother that God sends the inspiration of who we get to serve. And there are different ways that we can serve. And the poor might be the poor physically who can't take care of their physical needs. But it sounds like even with your friend, there are poor people who are not quite aware yet of those spiritual and energetic truths that you're learning. Thank you, Dikti.
Yes.
Who else?
Welcome.
When I think about people who know,
Mm-hmm.
I think about that I'm grateful for the past, current, and future prophets who lead and guide us during these tumultuous times, helping us through the moments of fear and helping them easily become these moments of peace and progression back to our Father in heaven.
Beautiful. I love that. And I love that there are places that we can go and, just places we can go to hear these people who know. And it does bring a lot of peace. Thank you. Betsy.
So I wrote down being seen and then seeing with the people who know, but ultimately, yesterday I did a video without makeup or anything, and really the message was about being myself, Betsyism. But what more people caught was when I said it's really about the message, not the mess. It's really who you are inside. And then I was led to this next thought of things that I said over and over again, is that the Savior gets me, and that understanding, wholly and purely, and anything that I've been through is the Savior gets me. Like I'm always understood, and it's such a beautiful, connective, humbling feeling as well.
Beautiful. Thank you. That charity that Deepti was talking about, in the scriptures, it talks about how charity is the pure love of Christ. And that's what I was talking about too, like seeing people through Christ's eyes. He is one who really knows, isn't he? He's the one who can really look into our hearts. He and God are the ones who can look into our hearts and really know who we are and who we get to serve. Thank you.
I was thinking about, when people who know, they are just such an incredible blessing. It's so simple to say that, but it's so true. And the verse that came to me was the vine and the branches, where Jesus says, I am the vine and you are the branches being part of the same tree, right? The same plant. And what we are divinely inspired to know, and it is divine, because our perception and our memories are a function of our soul, what's the activity of our soul. And so the things that we know and the things that we're inspired to know fit perfectly within the body of Christ, right? Within the body, and within our purpose and our mission, and others do too. So if we're willing to open our hearts and like you were saying, see each other for who we really are and share, like Deepti was saying, and even remember in gratitude, like Betsy was saying earlier, then we're able to be part of this beautiful, functioning, healthy body plant, right? With the plant being that branch. And what we know is a really important part of that.
I just want to bring out a truth that you're saying about the vine and the branches, that Christ is the vine. He is where the nutrients and everything are coming from, right? And I think it talks about in that same scripture about, that if you cut off the branch, that it's dead and there's no like source of food and nutrients there. And this idea of people who know, and I know, and the humility that it takes to know that, you know, all knowledge is coming from that divine source, and that without that divine source, we are nothing. And also on the flip side of the coin, that with the divine source, knowing that we are part of that vine, that we're just a branch off from the vine, that we have access to all the knowledge. That, you know, people who know, I am one who knows, or I can be one who
Yep,
knows
exactly.
if I go to the source to find the answers.
We are everything.
Yeah, we are everything.
When we're connected.
When we're connected. Thank you. Perfect. Love that. Tyree.
So every 90 days or every quarter, I choose a new goal. So today is my new goal for the last part of the year. And I was just thinking about, speaking of people who know, I am so grateful for mentors that I'm learning how to choose, like you were talking about, choose people that have the next part of what I need. And how I've been thinking about how you talked about asking what's the most important step to fulfill our debt to God. And I don't quite have the wording yet, but that is my next 90-day goal. And and the words that came to me as I was pondering on that are feed my sheep. And
Beautiful.
so part of what my 90-day goal is to just ask, how do I feed thy sheep today? And I'm so grateful for being taught these processes like the GPS and these different processes for me to learn and to tune into myself, and for all of these mentors, whether they're direct mentors or I'm just learning about them through books or programs they've put together, and how they all come together in this perfect timing for my greatest good and my learning and progression.
Beautiful. I love that. It sounds to me like your quarterly goal is to fulfill your debt to God, and that the question you would ask every day is, how do I feed thy sheep today? Is that right?
Yes, that is perfect. Yes.
Awesome. I love that. What an awesome goal. We have time for maybe one more share. Great. Let's go ahead and shift into our permission process. I invite you to take a deep breath and just allow yourself to connect to that source of all information, and just feeling the gratitude that we have access to all of this. We are all connected, all of us here on the earth, everyone who has lived on the earth in the great eternal family are connected with God, with the source of all information. One more deep breath. And if there is a specific question that you have, as Tyree had a specific question of what her quarterly goal was, and maybe there is a specific question that you have, or maybe you are in a position right now to be choosing a specific goal. So wherever you're at right now, whatever it is that you need, I invite you to be open to go to the source of all information, someone who knows, and to receive that answer. And remembering that the questions that you ask, if they start with what or who, they will give you a specific answer. Whereas if you ask why or how, you're asking things that are outside of your control and that are not yours. The why and the how is up to God and how the universe kind of orchestrates things. And or when is up to the universe as well. But the what and the why are things that you specifically have control over, and you can definitely ask those questions and receive a specific answer. So whatever it is that you need more information on today, Just go to the source of all information and ask what or who. And as you're receiving more information about your specific question, just be open to listen for any limiting beliefs that might be coming up as well. And write those down, just let them be. It's okay, this is just part of the process of understanding what obstacles have stopped you from really seeing that answer in the past or fulfilling, moving forward with that answer because of these limiting beliefs. So this is just an opportunity right now to be aware of those limiting beliefs that are coming up for you. And we're going to just let them be for just a moment and then make a choice whether to keep them or not. So you always have that ability. You have that ability to give yourself permission to choose something different if you choose to. So now that you're aware of that limiting belief, also notice the cost. What is the outcome that that limiting belief must bring to you? If you choose to keep that limiting belief, what kind of outcomes will it produce as you're stepping forward with this new information that you've received today about this particular area in your life that you had a question about? What's the cost of that limiting belief? And now that you know what the cost of the limiting belief is, you can actually give yourself permission to either keep it or to let go of it, to choose something different. And if you're ready to give yourself permission to choose a new belief, say yes.
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 Awesome. Thank you. And so what are those new beliefs? Choose like 2 or 3 new beliefs that will help you to let go of that old limiting belief, take action, move forward with this new information that you've received through your question, and help to change the person that you are within to be more confident, more courageous, more empowered, more strong, whatever it is that you need to continue moving forward. What new beliefs will help you to become the person that is certain of success with this new area of life that you're stepping into? And after writing those new beliefs down, 2 or 3 new beliefs, I invite you to bring those new beliefs into your body, bring them into your soul, bring them into your heart, allow them to be felt in all of the cells of your body. Just allow these new beliefs to level up the person that you are and just feel yourself growing because of these new beliefs that you've internalized, that this new knowledge, you become a completely new person. You have new knowledge, and therefore you can move forward as a new person having this new knowledge. And now all that's left is just taking action on these new beliefs, and then that knowledge becomes wisdom because you'll be adding experience to your knowledge. So what is your inspired shortcut? What's the one most important thing that you could do today that would really anchor in the new beliefs, help you really find confidence in these new beliefs because you've actually tried them out? You have a physical anchor of taking action that will help you always remember that this is who you are now. What's your inspired shortcut? We'll take one more deep breath. And just putting stars and hearts and sparkles and whatever around that inspired shortcut, knowing that this is the one most important thing that you get to do today, and that all other things if there's anything else on your to-do list, that they would be secondary to this one most important thing. In a moment, I'm going to open it up for some shares. And I also want to offer myself as someone that you can turn to if you don't know all the answers, if you're feeling like you need some extra support. I would love to put my head together with yours, my heart together with yours, and help you find that answer. And all you have to do a private session with me is to go to askwylene.com, and that will take you directly to my calendar, and you can schedule a 15-minute call. It's a free opportunity for us to connect, and I would love to help in whatever way that I can. Askwylene.com. Who has something that they would like to share? Tyree?
I just had an added understanding. It was so cool. So you've been talking about in your case study, or maybe all of them, I don't even know, but you've been talking about how we receive what we're prepared to receive right then. So
Yeah.
So whatever, if we want to receive more money, then we follow God's direction with what we receive, and he will give us more when we need more. And I just realized it's the same with spiritual gifts. And I'm like, wow, how did I not get that before? It's the same with spiritual gifts. When we are following his inspired direction and serving as he wants and desires us to serve, then we will need additional spiritual gifts. So as I am feeding his sheep, I will need the blessing of the pure love of Christ, charity, and compassion. I will need those spiritual gifts, so he will bless me with those spiritual gifts in greater abundance. Isn't that cool?
Yes.
Oh, so cool. Oh, and the other one. So I have wanted the gift, the differences of administration. So I know how to administer to each of his sheep individually. I've wanted that gift since I served a mission for my church. And I was like, I want that gift so bad, but I receive it as I minister to his sheep. Anyway.
Wow. Awesome. Thank you. Yes. If we want a specific gift, then it's interesting. There was a specific gift that I wanted, and that was to have no guile. And it was a 6-year journey to finally, I looked back and I was like, I can honestly say I have no guile. And it was seriously a 6-year, like, trying to have this. And I don't know if I had been in a position, this was before, I had the heart attack or anything. But I don't know if this would have been a faster process if I had been actually in a place where I needed that gift immediately. That's a really awesome thought to consider. Thank you. I love that. The more that we serve and the faster that we take action on those inspired shortcuts, we're going to be given everything that we need. Doesn't necessarily just mean money or energy or time or whatever. It can be spiritual gifts. I love that. Thank you. Have time for maybe one more share. Melinda.
I just wanted to add to Tyree's thing. My son, when he does the morning GPS with me, he always gets feed my sheep, like every time. And it's funny because we have sheep. So we can take it literally or not. But also he loves to cook. But with having older sisters, he doesn't always get the opportunity. So on the day he gets that, it helps mom know, hey, let him cook today. He gets to cook today and prepare the meals. And so when Tyree said that, I was just like, Tyree, I love watching your recipes and all, you're awesome. So I had to add that real quick. But so for me, it kind of went together even literally. But one of my limiting belief was I don't need to know who or what, because I know what I want to do. And I was like, oh boy, that's there. Okay. So the counterfeit and the cost is closing off to divine inspiration, which that's not what I want at all. So I do give myself permission to change and let go. And it's interesting that today you said let go. I noticed that one, that I don't think you always say that. So that was nice. And I put, I am open to God's will and inspiration and logic not understood by me. And with my hand reached out to God's loving hands and arms who embraces me, and I run, act, and enjoy my intuition, purpose, and shortcuts.
Wow, beautiful. Thank you. And I hope you guys, you're both part of our Architecture of Life case study group. And that that chart that you got to fill in, you know, to gather your sheep, the title of it is Feed My Sheep. I hope you guys are catching this, that you have the blueprint to be able to do that. And all you have to do, and all you have to do is just get inspired every day of who you get to serve. Thank you. Well, you guys are awesome. I know that there's probably lots of other shares. And so I encourage you to go to our Facebook group, Breakthrough with Gratitude, and share your thoughts there. We'd love to celebrate with you there. Thank you all for everything that you shared. This is super wonderful energy that I'm feeling now. Thank you for your share, Tyree, and just that exciting energy that you bring, and everybody just sharing your ahas. It's awesome. You are all people who know, because you have access to the source of all knowing, and just know that and embrace that. You have all the answers. All you have to do is ask. I love you guys, and we will look forward to being back together tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks so much for listening. And I encourage you to tune in every day to the Daily Gratitude Call. And the Daily Gratitude Call happens live every weekday morning. I'd love to have you join. So to find out how to join live, go to my website, WileenBenson.com. Thanks for tuning in.